So, you guys find yourself in this dungeon, having just bested these werewolves behind one of the closed doors. You guys can hear the growling of these rather large dire wolves that can't really seem to get out of this room. Hig, you're feeling pretty worn out, pretty tired. It's been a hell of a battle for you, or at least the last battle was. If I'm not mistaken, you actually dropped. Was that was this campaign? Yeah, you dropped. Was that last campaign?
No, that's the other campaign. But I am out of not quite half health, but
you did take some damage, so you're feeling pretty worn out and whatnot. You're feeling overly annoyed with just everything right now. As for the rest of our players, we're going to go down our list one at a time, and we are going to see what you guys are doing. Hig.
She's going to rifle through her things while she can to see.
Hey, I just...
Man. You just...
Oh, sorry. I just realized that one thing I have to deal with Twitch is ads. So I'm hearing ads.
Oh, fun
and
stuff.
Now I don't know where we are.
Technical issues, gotta love it. Bard, let me know when you can hear this. Let me know.
I'm hearing it.
You're hearing? Awesome. Okay. So, Hig's feeling fairly tired. Hig's starting to get a little annoyed at just everything. We're doing check-in with the players to find out what everybody is doing at the moment, having just bested these werewolves and now hearing the growling of these dire wolves behind the door. Hig, what are you doing?
Hig is digging through her many pockets and everything else to see if she's got anything for healing.
Anything for healing. Okay. You're welcome to rummage through and take a look. Do you want us to come back, to circle back around to you?
Yes, please.
Ilardis.
So Ilardis is just kind of looking around. He's still got his bow at the ready, making sure that everything is, at least for the time being, safe enough that we can kind of catch our breath and
Yeah.
Carry on if need be.
Yep. Anything else?
Nope, that's pretty much it for me at the moment.
Yuki.
I have a quick question.
Okay, what is your question?
We're still silenced, right? But I have that staff that heals. Do I still need to use the verbal component for all of the healing spells, or does it just work with the staff?
You would still need to use the verbal component for that, yes. However, you guys did pick up something, if you recall. A vial of something. It was either last session or the session before. It was a vial of, I believe, vial of potion of dispel magic or something like that, just enough for one swallow.
Protection of magical silence.
Yeah, sorry, protection of magical silence, that thing. Yes, whatever that was. It's enough for one dose.
How long does a dose last again?
This would remove it permanently.
Yes,
It would
I
remove the
remember now.
effects of the magical silence, effectively.
And that's why we gave it to the cleric.
So if I took that, I would no longer be silenced.
Correct.
And here I was thinking it was like I'd be fine for a turn kind of thing.
Nope. Nope. This vial would remove the effects of the magical silence permanently for one person.
I'm chugging the potion.
You're drinking the potion?
I'm drinking the potion.
And you feel something just kind of loosen up in your throat, and you just give it like this huge hack, and whatever was blocking your throat, it's just gone.
I'm healing Hig.
You're healing
I'm
Hig?
cure wounds in Hig.
Cure wounds for Hig? Cool. So, you go to heal the brownie. You can roll your healing for that. As you are doing that, we are going to move on to Vincent.
Hig, you get 11.
Hey,
Nice, thank you.
me. Well, first, when I hear her actually being able to talk again, I just kind of point at her and screech like Donald Sutherland in Invasion of the Body Snatchers,
And of course, she doesn't hear anything.
although it's silent.
Yeah, it's a silent screech. Very loud, silent screech.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And, as for me doing health-wise, in that entire fight, Vincent only lost like 2 hit points, so he's fine.
Show off.
Vincent's fine, guys.
To be fair, Vincent didn't get shot in the face with ice arrows.
Mm-hmm. It's only 2 hit points. You know what? I'm gonna look up to pictures to see what I can find, if I can find what 2 hit points looks like.
Yeah, probably like a scratch on the arm at your level. Not even. Maybe a bullet or a scrape or a scratch on the arm or something like that. At least that's the way I envision it, right?
No, I could take 2 hit points from like an arrow.
Yep.
Does that mean it's only a nick, or does that mean it's an arrow sticking out of me?
No, it means it's a nick, effectively.
Hmm. Like, imagine that at level 1.
Right? Right? So, what are you attempting to do, Vincent?
At the moment, there's really nothing I can do other than kind of just keep watch while people are being healed. Kind of peek down this hallway, see where everybody else is.
Hig stopped in the middle of the hallway, if I remember correctly, in front of what appeared to be a tripwire. And I can't remember if you triggered it or not.
Yes,
Hig
it
did
was.
and got
It
shot
got,
in the face.
So with that tripwire having been triggered, you should be good to go. I need to know what you guys are doing and what is next on your plan of action.
well, Hig is feeling a little bit better now that she's gotten some healing, but she's still very frustrated and annoyed because she couldn't find anything in her bag that was useful. So now she's just more taking stock of what she's going to need for whatever's next. She's going to choose to hang back and not go in first for a bit.
Okay. I want you all to roll me a actually, I want you all to tell me your... Was that thunder?
Yeah, it was. We heard it too.
I heard it through your headset.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I still have my mic on.
Yeah, that was from here.
Send it my way.
Oh, it's about time. I'm going to go down the list one at a time, and I want to know your passive perceptions. Hig.
14.
Ilardis.
It is 14.
Kiba.
One quick sec while I get that open.
Yep.
$16.
13.
Vincent has 13, and Yuki.
14.
You guys notice that it's a tad quiet. Not quiet like it has been in these rooms, but almost like there's something missing. And as you're looking around trying to figure out what it is, Kiba's the first one to notice that Nico is missing.
Kiba's gonna walk over to Alardis because he's closer to Alardis.
Hey, where's the little one? Where's the big little one?
Kiba's gonna tap Alardis on the leg and then kind of start sniffing around, and then that's when I'm gonna sit there and be like, wait a minute, and basically do what Vincent had said.
And then one by one, the rest of you start to realize that as well. Vincent was the first one to call it out, and then Kiba, and then one by one, the rest of you start to realize it.
Ooh,
That
it's really
Nico's
started raining.
Gone. Yes, it has.
Guys, where's Nico?
How do you lose somebody that big?
Question. The potion I took, does that only work for me, or did it cure everyone?
No, it would have only worked for you.
So y'all are still writing notes.
Yeah.
Hig is doing a lot of shrugging and angry gesticulating.
As it does. So I'm going to need to know your guys' plan of action. I need to know what you guys are doing and where you guys are going, kind of what's going on. Like, the floor is open at this point.
I'm gonna start looking around the big
Vincent
room
is
everyone's
gonna
in.
kind of go up here and just peek out.
And Yuki?
And he's also gonna start calling out Nico? And he's gonna do like, God damn it.
Okay. And we're going to move over to Yuki.
And he'll just kind of take his phone out and type Nico on it and then kind of hold it up around.
I am going to use a sending spell and send it to Nico.
Mm-hmm.
Ask, where did you go? You've completely disappeared. Are you okay?
So, Vincent, you don't find anything, you don't see anything, and of course, screaming with the text on your phone, you don't really... Nothing becomes apparent, you know, with the capital letters on your phone, nothing happens. Yuki, your sending spell. You send your message off.
I don't understand. I typed in all caps and everything.
All you get back is silence.
Guys, Nico's not answering. I am really concerned now. Should we maybe look for him?
Meanwhile, it looks like Vincent has screwed off back down the hall that you guys came.
Hig had rolled a 10 for perception to looking around and seeing if there's any clues, but
Nothing really. You see your footprints on the floor because it is like an earth and dirt floor, right? You do see kind of the footprints that you guys made on the floor, but nothing else really. Investigation? What'd you roll?
yeah, 5. He's not feeling well.
No, you're not doing well. You're a little. You're more than a little annoyed at this point.
Can I look around for Nico's footprints? Because they should be pretty distinct. They should be huge.
Yeah, absolutely. You can roll me an investigation check.
20.
20. You see, it takes you a moment, but you manage to pick up on Nico's footprints. You manage to distinguish them from everybody else's footprints, right? You can see them kind of pacing back and forth, running back and forth and pacing, almost anxiously. And then, as if out of nowhere, they just stop. Almost as if Nico disappeared on the spot.
Cool. So, guys, we might have a rescue mission now because Nico just poofed out of existence. I can't remember. Did we manage to disarm that trap in the one hallway?
Oh, you can't hear me, so it probably sounded more like...
I believe so.
God damn it, Vincent. Sorry, what was that?
Maybe we should continue on.
That's up to you guys.
We probably should continue on and hope we find Nico on the way.
Vincent, what do you think?
That's all we can do. I mean, I'm not going to want to tell his parents. Hey, we lost your giant kid.
Your son poofed out of existence while we were in a dungeon that incapacitated us.
Oopsie doodles.
And we were fighting a ghost zombie form of our dead friend. I don't really feel like telling a couple people that.
Anything else?
Dude, looks
1, 2, 3,
like
not
we
it.
put ourselves in turn order, so let's go down the hallway.
So as you guys move down the hallway, and you move to the intersection, you'll see the door to the left, the door to the west, the door to the south, and the hallway to the north. As you look to the east, there is what appears to be another hallway there. In the middle of that hallway, there is a lone fountain of water that sits in an alcove. And you can hear the water just kind of tinkling a little bit. Like that water pouring sound as it flows into the fountain and then drains to somewhere. To the west you have a door, and to the south you also have a door. The south door, one moment, appears to be a simple wooden door. And the door to the west also appears to be a wooden. It appears to be a wooden door, and there is apparently growling coming from behind that door.
So, guys, we're gonna ignore the door with the growling, okay?
Yeah,
Can someone check.
you're describing a room, but we're in a hallway?
No. So, as you look to the east, so if you look right from where Ilardis is, Ilardis would be able to see a fountain sitting off in the corner of a hallway.
The growling's coming from over here.
I don't see Alardis on the map.
Because Ilardis just rounded a corner. Do you see Kiba?
Yeah.
Okay. That's where Ilardis was. Ilardis sees the fountain. 1 second. So if somebody rounds a corner, you guys aren't going to be able to see them. If they just disappear, they've wandered off somewhere out of sight, you will not be able to see them on this map. But that's where that green square is where the fountain was, or where the fountain is. As you move down, it's literally just an empty hallway, or at least it appears to be.
Oh,
Yeah. So I will kind of look at y'all and be like, can we ignore the growling door to the left, please?
That's up to y'all.
Yeah, that's probably a bunch of giant wolves.
Yeah. Can somebody check the door right in front of us for traps, just in case?
I rolled an 18 on Arcana check on the fountain.
Vincent walks up, opens the door.
Alright, so you rolled an 18 on an Arcana check for what?
The fountain.
Nothing. Vincent, you walk up and you open the door. 1 second while I pull up my notes for that room, please. As you open that door, you need to make me a dexterity saving throw, please. And I'm gonna go grab my dice.
Uh-oh.
It's here.
It's always terrifying when the DM grabs their dice.
Yep.
Oh, hold on. There's more to that. Oh, you're all clustered. Everybody needs to make me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Would Rizo need to, since he's like off in a separate hallway, sort of?
Everybody within 20 feet of Vincent needs to make me a dexterity saving throw.
This is why I said check for traps! Jesus Christ!
That's why Hig is so
Oh.
close. She was going to check for traps.
Nobody else stepped up.
Alright, so, Yuki, what did you roll? Oh, no, sorry.
This,
Vincent.
this
Vincent.
lag is...
It is a little, yes. It's alright. You know what? We'll deal with it. We know that we have tech issues here. We'll deal with it. One of these days, like, we'll see what we can do to fix it, but for right now, we'll just deal with it. Vincent, what did you roll for a dex save?
$12.
Hig, what did you roll for a dex save?
Nat 20 for 21.
Excellent. Yuki, what did you roll for a dex save?
18.
Ilardis, what did you roll for a dex save?
I rolled a 19, and I'm about to roll for Kiva's here in a second.
Okay, let me know what Kiva gets.
17, I believe.
17? Vincent, Yuki, and Kiva. Vincent opens the door, and a cacophonous blast, a shockwave of energy, unleashes and literally just decimates everything within like a 20-foot range. You take, let's see. That's gonna hurt.
No, thank you.
Hold on. $36 points of thunder damage as you fail to make your save.
How did I fail with an 18? Jesus Christ!
And as you pull yourselves back up, you realize that you're having issues hearing properly. You have been deafened for 2 rounds. So, 12 seconds. The door remains open, just kind of swinging back and forth where
Cool.
Vincent left it.
So I didn't catch. Did Hig make the saving throw?
Anybody who rolled over a 19 made the saving throw.
And
Well, I
Vincent will kind of finger in his ear, kind of wiggle it
Yeah.
around a bit, try to get his hearing back. He'll just walk into the room.
Ilardis?
so I just made it with that 19 then.
Yep.
Hig opens the door and regrets it.
Well, Vincent opened the door and walked. And Vincent's already walking through as he's just kind of digging around in his ear because he can't hear.
I'm gonna chase after Vincent and whack him in the head with the staff and cast Mass Cure Wounds.
Before you do that, roll me an unarmed strike.
That's just a strength roll, right?
Nope, you should have it under your attacks. It should say unarmed strike.
Oh, there it is. I see it. Does a 13 hit?
Vincent, what's your AC?
It's 18.
So that will not hit. But you do manage to fire off your mass cure wounds. So you can roll your healing for that. That would be...
That's a nice 28.
Yep. No, 28 points of healing. And that can be divvied up among however many people, or does everybody cure for 28 points?
Choose up to 6 creatures in a 30-foot radius sphere. Each target regains hit points equal to the roll plus my spellcasting modifier, yada yada.
Okay, so everybody gains
everyone
28.
gets 28.
Cool.
Nice.
As you guys walk into the room, you see what appears to be a tile mosaic of a geometric pattern that covers the floor, and a pile of empty flasks lies in the southeast corner of the room. You have the door to the north that Vincent literally just wrenched open. You have an archway to the west. You have what appears to be a wooden door you have 2 wooden doors to the south. One appears to be made of better material than the other, at least as far as you can tell from here.
Am I right in seeing that one of them is open?
Hang on a second. Let me double check, because I have to switch back and forth between tabs. Just so I can see those doors. One of them should be unlocked, actually, not open. So that was my bad.
Alright. I wonder which one. So, where did you say the pile of stuff was?
The southeast corner of the room.
Alright. Go there and just kind of poke around at it with my bat.
The flasks just kind of give it this metal tinkling almost, this metal, like, thunking sound. Like, when you take a flask and you just kind of ping it with your finger, you know that sound it makes? It makes a whole bunch of that as you poke around.
Right. I rolled a 4 on my perception. Is there anything shiny in there?
Not really. Not that you can see.
Alright, well, I'm gonna try and not walk on the circle here that is somewhere in this room.
Okay.
Now let's kind of watch this archway.
As you peek into there, Vincent, you see what appears to be just a tiny empty room. And you see at the other end what appears to be another wooden door.
So I'll call out to everybody else. It looks clear. Don't step on the circle. I don't know what that is.
You would also recognize this room as one of the rooms that you came into when you first entered the place.
Hey, we've been here.
And you just hear that loud... You
I
hear
think for
that...
a second,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, nobody can hear me.
And that's when you hear that cackling sound, that very familiar voice, almost as if it's taunting you. What's the matter? Can't find me? Aw, poor babies.
So basically, I'll walk up to the door where everybody else is again, hold up my phone that says, "It looks clear, don't step on the circle."
Why don't we step on the circle?
Flash my phone back at them. I don't know.
Don't tell me you need a hint already.
A hint would be nice.
Oh, really? I thought you guys were smarter than that. At least that's the way you appeared when I was fighting with you.
I'm just gonna gesture to Vincent, like, the whole lot of Vincent. You think we're
Vincent.
smart?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. What I meant to say was, you appeared smart with the exception of the brute when I was fighting with you.
Okay, you know what? That one's more fair.
And Vincent is just gonna hold both middle fingers up, one at... Vincent is holding both middle fingers up, one at Yuki, one just kind of waving randomly in the air.
Don't tell me I'm gonna have to finish you off early. I wanted you to see what else I had in store in my my little maze here.
But I don't want to play. I'm tired and cranky.
So, how's that different from any other day?
You know what? Fair.
And the voice falls silent. So,
I'm gonna pat Vincent on the head and a there reassurance.
So you said this door was locked?
which door? That door? Yes.
I'm gonna come in the room a tiny bit.
I've apparently lost connection with the server.
Yeah, that popped up for me earlier.
Try-
And then everything was fine.
Try refreshing or whatever. But, yeah, that door is locked.
Is the door on the left locked?
Nope, it's open. This is one of the first rooms that you guys came into. You guys would recognize that.
We also didn't think to mark stuff this early on, so I'm not sure where we've been.
You guys have been through the door to the door to the west.
Alardis is gonna.
So we just went around in a circle.
Alardis is gonna pat Kiba on the head to get his attention, and then poke at his nose basically as a try to sniff out for Lobelia. And so because Kiba has advantage on any perception checks that rely on smell or hearing, I rolled an 18 for Kiba for his perception check using his nose.
And what is he? Sorry, what is he trying to find out?
Trying to locate Lobelia through scent.
There's nothing. The smell of the damp earth down here is too overpowering.
Can someone who's not Vincent check the other door for traps?
Bard, yes, it says you are still in the game.
Which door do you want checked?
The bottom left one over here. This one.
That door does not appear to have any traps on it. That door was already opened by you guys. As a matter of fact, this was one of the doors that you came through. Shortly after entering this place.
Oh, in that case, Haig is gonna mark it as such.
You guys would have actually come the other way. You guys went north through this door.
How do I delete markings?
I believe, 1 second, let me grab this. There you go.
So that?
Yes, you guys came that way.
Okay.
Well, we've got... You guys are capable of zooming out your maps. In one of the last big rooms where there was multiple doors, there was still 2 other doors, at least I think, that hadn't been checked.
Okay.
The one with the numbers in the room? 1 to 4?
Did we actually go all the way through?
We did 2 and we did 1. I don't think we did 3 or 4.
You kind of opened door number 3. You didn't go too far, if I'm not mistaken. At least that's what I'm showing on one of the maps. 4 does not look like you've done.
It looks like we peeked down the hall for 3, and we didn't even touch 4.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to head back to that one big room with all the doors and see if we can find something down there?
Haig is going to shake her head, obviously, since no talking.
Cheers. So, yeah, you guys didn't really get a lot accomplished last session, but that's okay. That is quite fine. You did seem to be going in a giant circle, however. And, found out that you may have to go back through one of the doors that you had not been through previously. Maybe... I don't know if you guys had decided what doors you were going through yet, but there are a few doors that are left unexplored. So I will leave that up to the party. And we are going to open the floor for the party to figure out what you guys are doing.
Weren't we going back through door 4? I think that was the one we didn't do yet.
That's up to you guys.
Looks like Hig was going to, backtrack all the way to door number 4.
Yeah, we were going to go through this hall, back up, and over towards that.
Okay. Yeah, you guys are welcome to move your characters. Like,
I'm going to follow the tiny cute thing.
we are in open exploration mode. Do you need help with the door? Nope, you got it? Okay.
It's just really laggy for me.
Nah, you're good. I get it. That was the wrong window. There we go, that's the window I want. I was gonna say, you should be able to walk through that door. Okay.
Weird things are happening on my screen.
I don't know what's happening on your screen. I can't see your screen.
Hey, it stopped now.
In the room that Yuki has just passed through. One moment while I open my notes. There is also a door to what appears to be the west that I don't think you guys have been through yet.
It
That
doesn't
is
look
correct.
like we have.
So,
So, are we going to try this door, or continue up the hallway and try for 4?
I mean, we might as well check 3 since we're here. Instead of potentially having to do another back around.
okay. So, you guys gonna lay the scene out for me? What are you guys doing? How are you doing it?
Hey, Vincent, can you
Yes.
attempt to open that door that's right there?
Okay. I'll open door 3.
Okay, how are you attempting to open door 3?
Wait.
Is-
Pig, can you check for traps first?
Yes.
I love it.
Oh, fine. Vincent backs off from the door.
Investigate?
It's gonna be investigation, yes. What did you roll?
That would be a 12.
Rolling a 12 on your investigation check reveals nothing unusual about this door.
Hig's just going to shrug, look up. Looks normal to me, but what's normal around here?
Okay. So, Hig has not found anything with the door. What are the rest of you doing?
Okay, Vincent, now can you try the door? And hopefully it won't
I open the
blow up.
door.
You open
Yeah,
the door?
Hig is going to back up to a safer distance just in case.
Okay. Vincent, how are you attempting to open the door? Hello, Silence!
I mean,
Hi.
I assume there's a doorknob, a door handle. Is there?
There is actually a door handle, yes. As
Cool.
you take the door handle and you attempt to trigger it and turn it, it rattles, but it doesn't move.
Does it push or pull? What side are the hinges on?
There is a hinge. The hinge is on this side, actually, so it would pull open. But as you try and pull it, it doesn't move.
Vincent smash.
All right. See if I remember which tab I go to again. Where do I find my character sheet on here again? Under PCs? Yes, here we go. So I am going to attempt to just force the door open, just pull it open.
You're gonna pull it up. You're gonna force the door open.
Yeah?
Roll me a strength check.
Okay. I got a 23.
You can feel the door creak. You can hear the door creak a little bit as you pull it, but it doesn't give. This wooden door seems to be fairly well made.
Huh. Give a look at the door. I'll think for a second and I say, "Hey, Hig, you wanna have a go at undoing these hinges? I can't seem to rip the door open."
Sorry, Bird wants to play.
I see that. That's why I asked you to do something.
So you're asking if I can magically open the door?
Oh, he wants you to pull the hinges out.
I mean, I guess so, yeah. That would just probably be Tinker's tools?
Tinker's tools, or anything with a chisel or a crowbar or anything like that. If you got a crowbar and a hammer or a chisel and a hammer, use your imagination. Paint the scene for me. I want you to tell me how you're doing this.
Alright, so Hig's going to start digging through all her various pouches.
Yep.
She's going to find what looks like a screwdriver and a mallet.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to ask Vincent to lift her up to the tallest hinge first. And start
He will do that.
banging away. I don't know if anybody's ever removed door hinges before. I have. If it's a standard hinge, there should be like a hole at the bottom of where the screw goes in.
They have a hole. They basically to modern day hinges. This one resembles modern day hinges. The way it works is they have usually 3 sections with a hole in the middle that you slip a pin into, and the pin literally holds it there. They're usually all made of metal, but the pin is what anchors everything together.
Exactly.
And in order to release the hinge, you have to find the crack, and you have to the crack between the hinge part and the pin, and you have to hit that and either up or down depending on which way it is.
Yeah, so that is what Hig is going to do.
All right, so you are going to roll me a dexterity check, please. I've never seen anybody in the D&D campaign remove the hinges before. It's great.
It's actually something me and my brother did all the time whenever, we didn't have a rogue or a thief with us, and we needed to pop a door open. The GM would just be like, "Really?"
In a D&D setting, it's ingenious. Like in a D&D setting,
Yep.
everybody's so used to looking for traps and breaking down doors. Nobody thinks just to remove the fucking hinges.
Just remove the door.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled an 11 for that dexterity.
Yep. Now you're gonna roll me a strength check.
That would be a 16.
So your first few hits, it doesn't seem like much headway is being made. You do manage to hit it, and you can see it kind of popping up a little bit, but not much headway is being made. However, a couple more solid taps, and you do manage to pop this hinge out just a tiny bit more, so there's a gap like that. I'll get you to roll me another strength check, please.
I'm trying to wrestle my fingers back.
You're good.
Just a second, I'm gonna have to restart Discord here.
What's going on?
I'm getting a lot of glitching on my end, like some stop and go from your guys' audio.
You do what you gotta do.
And that would be a 20 for that second one.
And 20 for the second one. You give feeling a little more confident in the way that you managed to get the hinge out. You managed to pop the hinge up a little bit. You give it another couple of solid thwacks, and you actually managed to launch the pin right out of the hinge. It hits the ceiling, falls to the floor, and clatters.
Hig's actually going to be a little surprised by this. Strength is not something she has an abundance of, and especially after the day she's had, that's a little bit surprising. She'd fully expected to have asked Vincent to pop that for her, because normally for stuff like that, that's why she had her dwarf apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not going to question it too much, because they need a win right now.
There appears to be one more hinge at the bottom as you're looking through the door, as you're looking at the door.
Alright, she's gonna ask to get put down and work on the last hinge.
Seeing as Vincent is AFK for the moment, we will assume that Vincent puts you down. You are going to roll me a dex check as well. What'd you roll?
So that, well, damn, that doesn't happen often. A 16 for strength and a 16 for dexterity.
Once again, you give it a couple of taps and it just kind of dislodges a little bit. Not much, but just enough so there's a bit of a gap, and I'll get you to roll me one more strength check.
Hello.
Hello.
I think I did.
Cool.
Welcome back.
Another 16.
And again, this hinge literally pops right out, just like the last one. This one seems a little easier, and it falls to the ground with a clatter. With a clattering sound, and just kind of rolls back and forth for a moment.
Hig's just going to grin, step back a little bit. Ta-da!
And the
Now you
door,
can remove the door.
and the door just kind of, the door doesn't really move. It just stays there. It stays kind of in an upright position.
And it's gonna wander over and pull it off.
The door is removed, actually, without too much fuss. One moment. While I unlock that door for you. And you drag your icon up and over to the door. You can click the door to open it, and then you can move your character through.
Hey. So, bet ready for something that tries to pop out at me aggressively.
There, roll me, what's your passive perception? As Vincent moves through this place.
Inventory features, attributes.
So your passive perception is going to be on the right-hand side of your character sheet, just below your saving throws. You should have something like, you see here. Let me open up this character sheet for a second, take a look. One moment. This character sheet. So if you look on the top right hand of your character sheet, you should have all of your stats, all of your base stats, right? And then right below that you should have your saving throws, and then right below that you have you should have passive wisdom perception, passive intelligence investigation, and passive wisdom, which is insight. It's underneath it should have a bold box that says bold text that says senses. Do you not see it?
I'm just realizing now that my character sheet on
right.
Forge is on.
You're working a character sheet off of Forge. Okay. One moment, I forgot.
Sorry,
about that.
what?
You're working in it with a character sheet off of Forge. I forgot that you're not using D&D Beyond.
Just a second. I have D&D Beyond. I had D&D Beyond up. I don't know where the hell it went. Positive I updated my character sheet on D&D Beyond for Vincent.
Let me go
so give me 1 second.
Let me go take a look at your character sheet here. Give me 1 second. How do they calculate that? Guys, if I can figure out that formula, I can calculate it manually. Just bear with me for 1 second here. View campaign.
Passive perception is 13.
There does not appear. I'm going to give you a couple extra points on that because you are at this point innately aware of your surroundings. You're paying extremely close attention to your surroundings, I would assume. So,
Yeah.
with that,
I mean,
you don't really see anything that is looking to pop out at you here. Meanwhile, Hig has rolled an investigation check. What are you investigating?
Just possible threats, any signs of direction or anything like that. I've passed one hall and noticed that there's another one that goes a little further.
Yep.
And she's just waiting on everyone else to see which way they're going to go.
Yep. Hig, you don't really see anything in this hallway as you continue on. However, where you currently are, the hallway makes a 90-degree turn, and then up a little ways, it makes another 90-degree turn for you, or in front of you. I didn't put a light source there, did I? Give me 1 second. There should be a light source there. Can you guys see that?
there is coming from me.
Oh,
Little
I know why I couldn't see from Hig, because I'm currently not focused on Hig on the on the stream map. So it does make another 90-degree turn to the left, but there does not appear to be anything in this hallway.
Okay. So Hig's just basically gonna get everybody's attention. There's 2 different ways to go. Which way do you guys want to go first?
Forward.
Want to try left?
Vincent's just like forward, apparently. Vincent. That is the east door. 1 second. This door, unlike the other doors in this place that you've encountered so far, appears to be made of iron. And as you test the door, it does appear to be locked.
Locked again.
Check for traps.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm checking for traps. Hig, check for traps. Hig, unlock the
Can that be our
door.
new thing now, though, so we don't get explosions in our face? Every door, Hig, check for traps?
Fine.
Well, I mean, if we don't want explosions in our face, we kind of should back off.
Better than risking our safety, right?
Oh, but you're fine risking mine?
So,
Easier to heal one than a group.
if you are attempting to check for traps, please roll me an investigation check.
21.
Yeah, you actually managed to find a pressure sensor on the door. Looking around a little bit, you can see that just inside this door frame, just enough so you can see it, and lining the walls beside you, there appear to be little tiny holes in the wall.
I think we've got ourselves another little arrow trap thingy. And Hig's going to motion to the space, the pressure sensors, and then all the little holes on the walls.
Uh-huh.
How... How big are those little holes?
How big are the little holes? Probably about this big, give or take.
So, like the size of some of Hig's ball bearings?
Give or take. At least that's what it looks like.
Okay. Is there quite a few of them, or...
They line from ceiling to floor. On both sides.
Oh.
On both sides.
Would they just hit somebody that's at in front of the door, or this entire section of the hall here?
From what you can tell, they are meant to hit the person that is standing in front of the door.
We have a problem.
What is that problem?
Whoever opens the door is going to get turned into a pincushion, I think.
You're more than welcome to try and disarm the trap if you want.
Sure.
Cool. Give
See,
me...
aren't you glad I said let's check for traps?
One moment. I believe that's going to be a sleight of hand, but just let me double check here. Yeah, it's going to be a sleight of hand for me.
Now, if I also have thieves' tools, if I use them, it gives me advantage.
Yes. So
on that.
since you have your thieves' tools, you are going to attempt to disarm the trap at advantage. So sleight of hand at advantage, please.
How do you roll at advantage?
You're basically gonna roll your sleight of hand twice and take the higher number.
Okay.
Unless you're using D&D Beyond, in which case it may pop up and say, do you want to roll normal, disadvantage, or regular advantage?
Oh, we take the time to notice that. Oh well. We will take the better of 21.
You absolutely will.
And that's a natural 20.
It is.
Nice.
See, you spend a moment looking at this, and given your experience with just all sorts of mechanical objects or mechanics, and the way things, you have almost a second sense about the way things are wired, or they could be working. And it's not hard for you to determine how this thing is probably hooked up. You take one of your thieves' tools, you jam it in on one side of the pressure plate. You take one of your other tools and jam it in on the other side, and you actually manage to somehow flip the pressure plate up without triggering it, which brings you to the inner workings of this trap, and you do in fact see a sensor that's down there that leads off towards the walls. And a little bit of tinkering later, and you hear a click and another click. And then everything inside seems to relax. You put the pressure plate back down, and it literally just slides in like it was another piece of stone.
Before I put the plate back down,
Yes.
Can any of the components, especially the sensor, be scavenged?
Roll me. Interesting question. Roll me an investigation check.
Mm-hmm.
Waste not, want not. I needs parts to make things.
You are a tinkerer. It's what you do.
Might as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what did you roll?
I rolled the wrong thing. I rolled intimidation. Oops.
Congratulations. You intimidate the trap sensor into just cowing into submission.
That'll be an 8 for investigation.
Everything here seems a little too interconnected. As far as you can see, if you pull one thing out, it's either going to damage it or the components around it, in which case it's not really much use to you.
Okay, sounds good.
But you do manage to disarm the trap. The door, however, is still locked.
And she's going to dig through her thieves' tools a little bit, grab a different set, and grab her lockpicks and aim for the door now.
That'll be a sleight of hand, please.
Which will also be at advantage.
Sure. Gotta love those rogues.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a 13.
You can't quite get where the pins are with this. You know they're there, you just don't know where they are. You can almost feel your
I'll be right back.
lockpicks. You can almost feel your lockpick slip once or twice.
So you said this was like a big iron type door, right?
Correct.
I'm assuming its hinges are much
They would
harder
not,
to get to.
Yeah, they would not be the same as the other doors. As a matter of fact, looking around, you can't even see them.
She's gonna turn to Vincent and be like, I've done what I can do. Feel like making a hole?
Vincent will be back in a moment. You can take while we're waiting for Vincent. You are more than welcome to take another crack at it if you want.
Sure.
And that'll be at advantage as well. So,
17.
yeah, you're getting a little further. You managed to kind of wedge your lockpick in just in such a way that it goes in further than it actually did last time, and you can feel what must be the first 3 pins of this lock. You know there's another one, but you don't know where it is.
I wonder.
Up to you.
I have... Hold on. I have a few different sets of tools, but all of them are pretty much the same thing. They'll just give me an advantage. So this is tricky, but if I... So I have a good sense of where the pins are inside and all that.
You have a good sense of where the first 3 pins are, yes. You know there's probably at least one more that you're just not finding.
Would something like Mage Hand, which is more just an invisible force that does your command, be able to, like, put force on the pins? Is that stretching it?
Unfortunately, in this case, the lock is too... The lock hole is too small. Mage Hand will not work properly. Because Mage Hand, don't forget, can interact with actual physical objects, which means it won't be able to get in past the door.
True. I was trying to think outside the box.
Absolutely. No, you know what? I love that.
We'll save that one for later. Yeah, I'll give the lock another try.
Okay.
16.
It's not going to cut it.
Alright, well, she's gonna put her tools away, pout, and just sort of stare at the door, willing it to give away its secrets.
One moment.
Alardis is gonna walk over to the door. As he's walking towards the door, he's gonna pull a arrow out and then jam the arrowhead into the lock to see if he can unlock it that way.
Okay, one moment. You can jam your arrow into the lock. Your arrowhead. Roll me a strength check.
Strength? Okay. That's gonna be a 9.
Your arrowhead manages to lodge itself in the lock slightly, but the part that fits into the lock is a lot smaller than the rest of the arrow, and the rest of the arrow actually separates from what went into the lock, jamming it completely.
Does Hig notice this, that the lock hole is now jammed with the arrowhead?
What is your passive perception?
Sorry, what was that?
What is your passive perception?
14.
Yes, you would notice.
You hear this little, no! Why? I can't... And all these sorts of, like, high-pitched, rumbly, frustrated noises start coming out as Hig's, like, pulling on her hair and everything, because now there's no way that she's getting into this lock.
I just realized we can't actually hear anything because we still can't say anything.
Yeah, I'm the only one that can actually talk.
Right. I guess we. Okay. I think we can assume that we are like pantomiming to each other.
I'm assuming that you guys have found a way around the not being able to talk. You can still communicate clearly.
Yeah, like
You're using your phones or using
texting on
notepads or
phones.
whatever you've got, so you can still talk. There's no vocals to it. But what you see is Hig, like, visibly frustrated and upset.
With flailing arms, stomping feet.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like she's definitely like. It's a little bit odd. It looks like she's about to like lose her shit, which hasn't really happened yet.
Yeah.
It's a tiny temper tantrum without the sound.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And she's gonna stomp at the door, like, just out of nowhere and start, like, just beating on it. Just, like, trying to, like, physically push it. Just, like, completely, like, she's so done with everything in this stupid maze.
Roll me a strength check.
While she's doing this, would I be able to do a sleight of hand to jiggle the arrowhead around to try and unlock it that way?
We're going to get through with Hig at the moment. Hig, roll me another 3. What did you roll?
2 16s and a 7.
Cool. You're going to roll me 2 attack rolls, please.
Okay. Yeah,
Just
there is something
like an
that...
unarmed strike.
Hmm.
Okay. And your next one? Okay, roll me damage for one of those.
Actually, I'm remembering something that I need to...
You can actually, you guys, the rest of you, while we're figuring that out, the rest of you can actually see Hig starting to leave dents in the door.
Vincent gives a thumbs up.
Roll me an insight, Vincent.
We're getting through this one way or another, apparently.
Roll me a wisdom check, Vincent. I don't like that insight roll. Alright, never mind. You guys see Hig starting to leave dents in this door before she finally calms down a bit. Just enough to kind of step back and look at her tiny handprint size, fist-sized dents. And while she doesn't seem as overly aggravated, she's still fairly, like, pissed.
Yeah, she's
Large,
generally
you wanna do something?
seething.
What are the rest
Or
of...
Rizo, whoever spoke.
Let's, so Ilardis took one of his arrows and shoved it at the lock and jammed part of the arrow into the lock, jamming the locking mechanism.
After Hig had spent several rolls getting really close to the lock.
Yep. So we're gonna go down the list one at a time. We're gonna see what you guys are doing. Hig, you've just basically come from a minor meltdown. So we're gonna move down to Ilardis. Ilardis, what are you doing?
Bathroom, be right back.
I was gonna try a sleight of hand check to see if I'd be able to jiggle the arrowhead and get the door unlocked that way. And I ended up managing to roll a 24, or not 24, 22 on it.
You can jiggle the handle. The handle's not moving.
No, I meant the arrow
The arrow's not moving.
for the to try and. Ow.
You've wedged it in pretty well. Moving down, Yuki.
I'm gonna try something that probably won't work, but I'm gonna get the piece of the arrow that Alardis still has, like, you know, the sticky, shafty part.
Mm-hmm.
Get that from him. Touch it to the arrowhead where it broke, and I'm gonna cast Mending to try to turn it back into a full arrow to see if I can just, like, pull it back out.
So you take the arrow shaft and hold it up to the rest of the arrow that got jammed into this lock. You cast Mend, and the arrowhead actually stitches itself back together.
Can I pull it back out?
Roll me a strength check. Actually, roll me a dexterity check.
Ew, 6.
It's not budging at the moment. You're almost afraid that if you move it in such a way, if you move it too much, it's going to snap again.
Somebody else come yank this out, because apparently I can't. But I fixed it!
Vincent.
I'm gonna do it.
Vincent.
Vincent is just holds up his phone and says, Are we trying to open the door now?
Gotta get the arrow out
And-
first.
Alright. Vincent will go up and pull the arrow out.
Roll me a strength check. Actually, roll me a dex check.
A what?
A dex check.
That is 15.
Vincent manages to yank the arrow in its entirety out of the lock. Your locking mechanism is now empty.
Vincent holds up his phone again. Now open?
Now
Question
open?
mark.
So, Vincent, what are you attempting to do with this door?
I'm just waiting for confirmation on if I should Vincent the door open.
Vincent is asking if you want him to open the door. This is for the rest.
The
Yes.
door open.
That would
Hig
be.
is going to give an emphatic, like, bash the door in.
And I'll take a swing at the door.
Alright, roll me your attack roll, please. I like how those doors just like stopped you guys in your tracks.
Yeah, it feels like D&D.
At least this one
13.
isn't a mimic.
13. Your diamond-coated Denzel baseball bat thuds against this iron door, and that is it. As you take a swing at it.
I'm gonna groan in frustration and suggest that we give up on this damn door and let's continue down the hallway.
I'm hitting it again.
Alright, roll another attack.
$15.
Your baseball bat thuds against the door again.
Alright. Third time's a charm. What is with my rolls today? 10.
At
Nope.
least this is where the crap is happening and not in an actual fight.
And Higgs' unarmed strike is going to do fuck all as well, except just leave a tiny dent in the door. That one, you can feel the door give slightly, Hig, as you just reach out and you basically just wail on this thing. As a matter of fact, when you hit the door, there's a sizable dent you've left in the iron now.
A sort of, like, gleeful sort of rush starts to, like, oh my god, I'm doing it. And like, if anybody can see her Hig's face, she's got like a big like holy shit grin as she's just gonna keep pelting on this thing until it moves.
I'll let you take your next strike. I'll let you take your next unarmed strike at advantage. Roll your critical damage, please.
Nice.
Dang.
You guys can just see Hig kind of almost elated that she's left this dent, the sizable dent in the door, and she goes to wind up and hit it again. Her fist passes right through the door, leaving a tiny, brownie-sized hole in it.
Ooh.
And she's gonna get let out, like, well, I mean, obviously you guys can't hear it, but it looks like she's shouting, like, in victory, like she's, like, maniacally happy about this.
Roll again. At advantage.
No one can hear it, but Vincent's screaming, "Kill it! Kill it!"
That'll be a 16 and 18.
So that's an 18. Roll your damage for the 18 and the 16, please. And you got one more roll. One more damage roll.
I pressed on
It's
it.
funny
but it's
because
not
I was
doing
about to.
You managed to chip just a tiny bit more out of the door, enough that somebody else might be able to fit their arm through it, actually.
She's actually going to, like, grab what she can from the inside, and she's going with it. She's blaming this on adrenaline. You hear people being able to, like, lift cars off their babies. This is her wanting to get the frick out of this place. So she's gonna actually grab the inside and try to, like, pull a hole big, like trying to pull the hole bigger.
Wolflink has redeemed a feed, so if you need to hydrate or you need a bite to eat, now would be the time to do it. Roll me an investigation check, Hig. You manage to find some sort of locking mechanism on the other side of the door, and without too much hassle, you flip it, and the door, with you attached to it, swings open. Inside this room, it's pretty barren as you guys move in. Give me 1 second here, because I need to unlock that door for you. You are more than welcome to open the door and move on through. As you move into this room, there are a few other doors. There is a door to the north, which appears to be wood, a door to the west, which appears to also be wood, and another door on the eastern wall, which is what you guys just came in through, which appears to be also wood. There are also 2 treasure chests sitting in the middle of the room. And there is a sign that stands in front of them.
What's it say?
Wait, Vincent can read? Looking at the sign, it is actually in some sort of decorative script. Does anybody here read Elvish?
I do. Pretty sure the elf also does.
You never know. I've seen elves. I've seen elves that have chosen to forgo their being able to read Elvish because it was absolutely hilarious.
Okay.
I had an elf who could speak Dwarvish, but not Elvish.
So, this flowing script on the sign, you instantly recognize the words as Elvish. The sign says, 2 treasure chests, 1 choice. 1 chest contains wealth, and the other contains a lie. The choice is yours, but pick only one. Or face the wrath.
The wrath of what?
That's all.
Con.
That's all it says. Did you really? Fucking nerd.
He saw the opportunity and he took it.
Yeah, I can't fault him for that. I've done that more than once myself. While you guys are figuring out what you're doing, we're actually going to cut to break for 15 minutes. So, you guys have made it through this, through that iron door that was giving you so much trouble. Only to find a chest, two chests with a sign in front of it. One contains riches, the other contains, the other contains a lie. And basically, it summed up, said you can only get one guess. Choose wisely, or face the wrath. So, hello, Dad. So, what are you guys choosing to do?
Just quick question. Can Vincent and Hig read those signs?
Can Vincent and Hig read Elvish?
I cannot.
No.
So, no, they cannot.
So, since I can, and I can speak, I'm going to reiterate, guys, we get one shot at this. If we don't find the treasure, we leave the room and leave the other chest the fuck alone, or we're in trouble. Okay?
What does an insight on 20 give Hig?
What are you trying to use insight for?
I guess the message itself, the room, the doors.
The
Sorry
doors
about that.
You're good. You have a bird. We get it. The doors seem like just general doors. The sign appears to be a nondescript sign. The chests themselves appear to be identical. There's nothing really untoward about anything in this room. It's literally just a room with two chests and a sign.
Can I use detect magic to see if one of the chests is magical?
You can absolutely use detect magic if you so choose.
Since you can talk now. I'm jealous.
As you go to light up the chests, as you go to use detect magic in hopes that the chests light up, rather, nothing really happens.
Well, want to flip a coin
Vincent.
to pick which chest, guys?
Vincent types on his phone. Oh, look at me! I can talk. I can cast spells now. Look at my magic. Oh, now it doesn't work.
So, do you want me to heal you, or would you rather limp around half dead?
I type a heart emoji.
Just going through my inventory real quick.
Frantic typing.
Yep. I'm waiting for you guys to tell me what you're doing.
You guys want to flip a coin, pick a chest, hope for the best?
Well, what do they look like? Like, is there a difference between them?
Roll me an investigation check.
That is a 11.
They look exactly the same.
I'll poke one and then the other with a finger.
They feel exactly the same.
There's really no hint in that riddle or whatever that Hig can suss out?
Roll me an investigation check, Hig.
That's 12.
They look exactly the same.
Oh, Alardis is having some issues with his token.
What's going on, Ilardis? Sorry, I'm making notes here. Let me see.
I'm trying to get them to move and they don't want to. I refreshed the forge, so hopefully it'll work now.
Okay. One moment while I reset everything, because apparently my map just resized itself. Okay. Let me know if you can move your token, please.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah,
Hello?
They look exactly the same.
Guys?
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, I hear you now.
I don't know. We should probably wait to see what Alardis thinks we can do and then decide whether or not we want to just chance it.
Ilardis.
So Hig just sort of rolls her shoulders.
Ilardis.
He just shrugs.
Ilardis like, I don't know. I don't care. Dude, choose something.
So left or right, I guess?
Yep, there's one on the
So
left.
stand in front of the one you want to open?
Let me draw on the map here for you.
We should go with majority rules.
There is one chest here, and there is one chest here. Your sign is sitting right about here. Give or take. Approximately.
Well, I'm closer to this one, so...
Yeah, so bottom's left, top's right, if we're going by facing into the room where the door is.
Okay.
Well, Vincent's gonna move to open this one, and unless anybody stops him.
No, majority rules. Let's vote for this.
Hig, who's been pacing
Mhm.
impatiently and getting kind of frustrated with, again, she seems to be really cranky about this whole situation, is just going to go towards the one that Vincent is standing in front of, and she's just going to open it. She's not going to wait anymore. You hear her, like, you can see her muttering and things like that, but obviously you guys can't tell what she's saying.
Hey,
Fuck it, we win or we don't, I guess.
Pretty much.
odds or evens?
Odds.
Thank you. One moment, please.
Sorry if I get us killed, guys.
That's fine, it was either gonna be you or me.
It's either going to be we get stuff or we get squat, and we do not touch the other chest. We just leave the room.
Hig,
Until after we're sure that the other chest will kill us.
Hig, you open this chest, being a little aggravated and not really wanting to wait any longer. You're a little impatient. You flip open the lid of this chest, and it opens fairly easily. It is actually really well oiled. Like somebody's been taking care of it. There are a bunch of items inside.
Ooh.
2,600 copper.
Somebody take notes?
I am.
Yep. Just a second.
Yep.
$2,600 copper.
1,100 silver.
Sorry?
1,100 silver.
1,100 silver.
Yep. 40 gold.
40.
2 azurite stones, worth 10 gold each.
Sorry, 2 azurite.
Stones, worth 10 gold each.
Sorry, worth how much gold each?
10 gold each.
Alright, somebody else take notes because the Discord is being glitchy with me again.
I got it.
2 banded agate stones, worth 10 gold each. A blue... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just letting you know I was good.
A blue quartz. Hematite. Malachite. A tiger's eye stone. And a turquoise stone, all worth 10 gold each from what you can tell. And apparently some sort of potion and a scroll case.
A scroll case?
A scroll case.
Can we open the scroll case, or is it sealed?
The scroll case, you upon an, you know what? Roll me an investigation check.
Kid can invest. I only got a 3, and it's a crit fail.
The scroll case should be able to be easily opened.
And there's nothing sussy about it?
Not that you can tell.
Okay, I guess that kid needs me.
Okay.
So Hig's going to reach in and open it.
And there is a piece of parchment on it, in some sort of language that you are unfamiliar with.
I'm just going to flip it around and show it to everybody else. Like, I don't know what this is.
We're gonna wait until our healer gets back.
Yeah, consider me AFK at the moment, please.
Yep, we're gonna wait until you get back. So, just bear with us for one moment, folks.
Such is life.
Right? It is what it is.
I like that immediately after I said somebody else take notes, my Discord is glitching on me. Discord stops glitching on me.
That's usually how it goes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, kid drama.
So, Hig has basically reached into the scroll case and pulled out a piece of parchment with things written on it. Hig can't really make out what it is. So, she holds it up for everybody else to see, and Yuki, you are the one that actually looks at the scroll and recognizes it as a scroll of protection from Celestials.
That's kind of concerning.
And then,
Handy.
And then, of course, there's the potion.
Can we try to identify the potion?
Sure can. Give me one moment. You can roll me an Arcana check if you want.
$16.
You managed to identify the potion as an oil of etherealness.
What does that do?
One moment, let me grab you the actual description. Here we go. Oil of etherealness. Beads of this cloudy gray oil form on the outside of its container and quickly evaporate. The oil can cover a medium or small creature along with the equipment it's wearing and carrying. 1 additional vial is required for each size category above medium. Applying the oil takes 10 minutes. The affected creature then gains the effective etherealness spell for 1 hour. The etherealness spell... You step into the border regions of the ethereal plane in an area where it overlaps with your current plane. You remain in the border ethereal for the duration or until you use your action to dismiss the spell. During this time, you can move in any direction. If you move up or down, every foot of movement costs an extra foot. You can see and hear the plane you originated from, but everything there looks gray. You can't see anything more than 60 feet away. While on the ethereal plane, you can only affect and be affected by other creatures on that plane. Creatures that aren't on the ethereal plane cannot perceive you and can't interact with you unless a special ability or magic has given them the ability to do so. You ignore all objects and effects that aren't on the ethereal plane, allowing you to move through objects you perceive on the plane you originated from. When the spell ends, you immediately return to the plane you originated from in the spot you currently occupy. If you occupy the same spot as a solid object or creature when this happens, you are immediately shunted to the nearest unoccupied space that you can occupy and take force damage equal to twice the number of feet you are moved. This spell has no effect if you cast it while you are on the ethereal plane or a plane that doesn't border it, such as one of the outer planes.
That could be handy, but in a very careful how you use it way.
Could be a I'm gonna die, so I'm gonna use this kind of thing. Sure,
Cool.
cast fireball at me. You ain't gonna touch me.
Or that, or it's a case of we have to either talk to or get to somebody, or it might be the only way we can get through Lebelia, or it might be the only way we can gank her body. So if it's on another plane.
And with that, having taken the last item out of the chest, you hear... 1 second, I've got sirens coming.
For you?
Not for me, no, but there were sirens coming down, and they can be kind of loud over the mic. So having taken the last item out of these chests, you hear a slight grinding sound, and a moment later, these chests and the sign sink back into the floor.
Aw.
What are you doing?
Looks like we got doors to go through.
You sure do.
Up or
But
left?
which one?
I say let's go left.
Sure.
So which door? That one? Cool. 1 moment.
Yeah.
1 moment.
Investigating the door.
Yep. Give me 1 sec while I open up my my notes here. This appears to be a...
Are we still marking the doors here?
We should.
This appears to be a wooden door. You're investigating the door. What are you investigating for?
What kind of door it is, how it's secured, whether it obviously looks locked or open, or if there's any traps or anything like that.
The door appears to be unlocked, and you're 13 you rolled? Was it?
Yes.
You do not find anything out of the ordinary at the moment.
Well, in that case, she's just kind of, make a shrugging, looks safe to me, and motion for Vincent to go ahead.
Sweet. Open the door.
Roll me a strength check, please. As this door appears to be stuck.
That is 21.
Excellent. 1 second. 21 strength check. I love it. Roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Alright.
Oh no.
Barbarian's just like, fucking bring it, bitch.
24.
Excellent.
Whoa.
One moment.
I heard that as 54 and went, how the...
Can you imagine?
Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Vincent. You take 8 points of cold damage as arrows launch themselves from the wall, and some of them lodge into your skin. That is 8.
How much?
8 cold damage.
Oops.
Thunk, thunk, thunk. I'll look at them. I'll start plucking them off, and I'll say, "Not today, Satan." Nobody hears it, but I still say it. And I'll walk in.
And you walk in. So you have a pathway to the south, and you have a pathway to the west. Which way would you like to go?
By the way, it's funny that nobody saw that. So, gonna actually go down this way. See what's down here first.
Yeah. And you come down around the
Peek
hall.
around the corner.
You come around down around the hallway. Let me zone in quickly on Vincent here. As you move in and down around the hallway, it takes a 90 degree turn to the right,
Cool.
and it appears to lead to a dead end.
Sweet.
Roll me another dexterity saving throw, please.
Okay. One quick second while I check something.
What are you investigating, Hig?
Oh, okay, good.
Just the hallways in general. Same thing. Traps. Anything like that.
I forgot that I should get advantage on dexterity saves.
Okay. Please roll me your dexterity saving throw.
20.
You manage to dodge out of the way just in time as vines seem to creep up from the floor underneath you as you are walking.
Hey, fuck off.
They seem to be trying to grab you.
I'll dance back this way and kind of do a cutting motion across my neck, like not that way.
As you make your way back up the hallway, you manage to evade these vines quickly enough. Hig, you don't actually manage to notice any sort of traps or anything along the hallway. The hallways just seem like they have been for the rest of this dungeon. Earthen and kind of that damp earth smell.
Yeah, she doesn't like it down here. She's really starting to dislike it. She wants to be
Vincent just
outside
had-
very badly.
Vincent just types on his phone, shows it to everybody else. Don't go that way. I almost got tentacled.
As Hig moves down the hallway, let me see here. Let me zone in on Hig. You have a sharp turn to the left, Hig, which goes south. And there appears to be a door there. One moment. Again, a wooden door.
Investigating.
Yep.
19! Finally.
19. There seems to be something lining the doorway. The door frame. You're not quite sure what. You do know it is some kind of magical component, however.
Yeah, there's not much I can do with spells right now because of my limited ability to speak. Yeah, she's gonna have to wait. What happens if she fiddles with it?
With what? The door or the doorway?
The doorway.
Are you actually attempting to?
She's just gonna, like, gently poke it because she's being reckless.
Congratulations, you poked the doorway.
Nothing happened.
Nope, not really.
Well, she's gonna try opening the door then.
The door swings open, and the moment it does, the doorway itself disappears. And a swirling vortex appears in its place.
I cancel my order.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
I grab onto the back of Higgs' belt. And
at this height, it would be more like my collar.
yeah, collar and try to keep them from getting sucked into whatever that is.
And
There's no force.
Do I know what
There's
that
no
is?
force pulling you in. It's literally just a vortex that swirls around inside the door.
All right.
What does Arcana of 21 tell me about this swirling vortex?
An Arcana 21? This isn't your normal portal. This is a portal that is designed to transport somebody from one place to another. You're not quite sure where it goes, though.
Do I know if it's like a one-shot deal, like one person only?
With a 21, you are not quite sure.
Can we leave the portal as a last resort and go try the other door?
You'll see Higgs visibly hesitate, and then just kind of sag and slump forward, back the other way.
I want to stick my head in it.
Of course you do.
Vincent, no!
It's not a good idea. So I take my 10-foot pole.
Yep.
Actually, it's more like just a stick.
Okay.
And I'll put the end of the stick into the portal. And I have a light grip on the stick. So I'm not, like, death grip onto it.
Okay. So, the stick, as you
Does anything happen?
stick it into this portal, where it meets the portal, it disappears. But nothing,
Alright.
nothing seems to happen to it specifically.
I'll wiggle it around a little.
It wiggles around,
I'll wiggle it around a little. I'll pull it back out.
and the stick is whole.
So now I kind of wonder if somebody on the other side of that portal just saw the stick poke through, wiggle around, and disappear.
It's possible.
Alright. I'm going to take a bit of paper and write on it, "Is anyone there?"
Okay.
Gonna attach it on the stick,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna poke the stick through again. And I'm just gonna wait for a couple minutes.
As you
After a couple of minutes...
Yep.
Oh, go ahead.
As you are waiting, nothing seems to come back through.
Alright. And then I'll pull the stick back out.
And your
Has the message changed at all?
it has not.
What is Rizo doing?
Yes, what is Ilardis doing at the moment as everybody else is going through this?
Alartis is just watching all of this go down.
For expediency's sake, because he's having leg issues, can we just assume Alardis is sticking with the group?
Yeah, if you're dude, if you're having
Yeah,
issues like that,
absolutely.
like let me know if you're having issues like that. I'll roll with that. I will make it work, okay? If you're having like physical pain issues, like just give me a heads up. We can assume that Ilardis is, yes, sticking with the party.
Okay. So Vincent goes with the rest of the party.
So you guys aren't going through the portal?
I would assume not.
Okay. So,
It is prudent to leave it as a last resort.
where are you going?
Back the way we came to the chest room and up the other door?
Yep.
Yeah. One moment, please. You're seriously not gonna let me? Okay, fine, dick. This door, one moment, appears to be a shabbily made wooden door. However, it is either locked or stuck. You're not sure which. There appears to be something burnt into the wood.
Like a symbol or something?
Like a symbol or a sigil or something, you're not sure what.
Is it Elvish as well?
It is not in Elvish.
Vincent's gonna pull back from the door and kind of point at the symbol burnt on it.
Do I recognize it?
Roll me an roll me... Actually, you know what? Given the nature of that, probably not.
If it's historically related, I get like special rolls on that.
Yeah, thing is... While it is, you probably wouldn't know.
Do I get it like at least like a feeling of like, is it a good thing, a bad thing? Don't touch this.
Roll me an insight check. Dad, unmute your tab. What did you roll?
Oh, a 10. I blamed a bird. He wants to play really badly. He's super distracting.
You're not sure what it is? Not with a 10.
Yeah. She's too cranky and in a rush to get out of here, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
What does the 21 on the door itself get me?
So you know that other door with the portal? The things that were lining the door frame?
Yes.
They line this door frame as well.
Oh, okay. So I'm assuming this door will just go... Heg is... Is it safe to assume then that as soon as this door opens, it will go poof as well?
From what you have seen, theoretically, yes.
And does it look locked or anything like that?
It does not look locked.
Oh, she's gonna reach out
Hang on a
and
sec.
open it?
Actually, hang on a sec. Let me double check my notes. Make sure I'm giving you the right information. Sorry, this one looks either locked or stuck. You're not sure which.
I'm gonna try, I guess it's a sleight of hand for lockpicking, right?
Sleight of hand for lockpicking? Roll it.
That'll be a 14.
As you slip your lockpicking tools into this door, you can easily tell that this door is already unlocked.
Oh, nice. Well, she's just gonna take her tools back and open the door.
Roll me a strength check. Uh,
18.
As you swing this door open and pushing past whatever's blocking it, again, the moment the door opens, the doorway itself disappears, and there's a swirling portal.
So basically, we're playing with portals no matter what today.
How is
gasps,
this one different?
Sorry, what was that?
and then Vincent gasps, and then he runs down the hallway where the first portal door is. He picks up a rock and chucks it through the door.
Nothing happens.
Do I get pelted with a rock?
Nope.
Vincent
At
runs
least
out
Higgs not getting
and
hit
starts
in the
looking
face.
around excitedly.
What was that, Yuki?
At least Higgs not getting hit in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, your rock disappears.
What is the
It's
20
a little
on this board?
disappointing.
A 20 Arcana?
Yes.
Again, it is a portal designed to transport from one place to another.
Well, shit.
So, Vincent's going to go over to this door. He's going to close it.
Vincent,
He's going to open it again.
Vincent. The moment you reopen the door itself disappears, and a swirling portal is in its place.
And Vincent's going to turn on the strobe function on his phone's light so he gets people's attention and points at the door that we just came through.
Which, given a strobe light in this place, yeah, people would probably notice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, looks like we're going through a portal no matter what. Hig has a feeling that these all lead to the same place and is going to write that down.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
I think. Oh, yeah. No, we've.
Give him a sec. He'll be back.
Technical difficulties arose and soothe were overcome. Hopefully.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear us? Dang it.
Apparently not.
We'll wait for Bard to get back.
How about now?
Hello. Can you hear us? Bard.
Hello?
Hi.
Can you hear us now?
I can hear you guys.
Okay.
There we go.
So yeah, that door turns into a swirling portal. Haig is making notes.
Saying that she thinks all these porters probably lead to the same place, and we should just pick one and, just like the chest, get it over with.
So, Vincent shrugs, points at the door he's facing already. It's kind of checking for confirmation if we should just go through there.
And the rest of the party says. Again, we're assuming Ilardis is just kind of tailing along with the rest of the party.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'll go through whatever door you guys go through. Let's not split the party if we can help it.
Vincent goes through this door.
Vincent, you step through the door, and as far as anybody else can see, you disappear. You step through it, and you're just gone.
Wait,
Is the portal still there?
actually, before Vincent fully steps through it, he'll leave his butt out and just let out a fart. Then he'll go fully in.
Because of course he will. It's fucking Vincent. God damn it. As far as you can tell, from what you're seeing, the portal is still there.
I am going to go through the portal after Vincent.
Yeah, Hig's just gonna jump in.
And we'll assume that Ilardis is following along as well. Which
Yep, with Dima.
which now brings us to the fun part. One moment.
Yeah.
We're going to go theater of the mind for a short little bit here. As I swap up our music. Vincent, you are the first one out of the portal. On the other side, as you exit, you see what appears to be a forested clearing. All around this clearing, the trees are thick enough that you can't actually see through them. There seems to be something slightly off about this area.
How off?
Roll me an insight check.
$13.
You're not quite sure, but you do notice that there appear to be patches of... Where the grass should be, it appears to be yellowed and even blackened in certain places.
So, looks around. First thing Vincent does is go, "Who?"
He goes, what?
Can I hear myself? He goes, "Who?"
And your voice echoes throughout this area.
"Who?"
And again, your cheer echoes throughout this area, bouncing off of the tightly knit trees.
Yeah.
And a moment later, Yuki steps through, followed by Hig and Ilardis.
Guys, I'll let you talk.
First thing you guys hear as you step out of the portal is just this coming from Vincent.
Oh, hey. So, maybe we're not in the dungeon anymore? Like, completely out? Maybe not some weird-ass room?
Hig is going to take in everything, the fact that they're outside, trees and dirt. And you're just gonna hear air.
Hig, you would have a natural affinity to nature, yes?
In all kinds of ways, baby.
Roll me a nature check.
That sounds dirty.
Nah.
That'll be a 20.
Something is definitely off about this place. definitely off.
Like magically off, or is like as in like something's corrupted the area, or it's not a real nature?
This area has definitely been corrupted. As in, there is an underlying sense of rot. Something is twisting. Roll me... Roll me an insight check.
$16.
Given the nature of who you are, given your history, where you've come from, how long you've been around for, you've known more than enough people to know that this is also potentially a druid circle. A druid's clearing. A place they would go for respite. A place that they would go to relax and regain themselves, even when they're surrounded by, say, cityscape. This is a place, it's basically an extra-dimensional space that they would go to regain their sense of themselves.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's like the pocket spell house. Yeah, we know what I'm talking about.
It's basically, yeah, it's a pocket dimension with a druid's clearing in it.
Interesting, and that shouldn't be something with a corrupted nature, right?
Correct.
Huh. So while Hig is thinking of it, she's actually saying it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
It's an unfortunate habit that she has, talking to herself from many long hours in the shop.
Yep.
She finds it helps the thought process.
Yep.
And Vin's just kind of singing so he can hear his own voice again.
Yep.
So since Hig is muttering this out loud... Sorry. I thought you were done.
No, go ahead. Go for it.
So, since Hig is muttering this out loud, I'm just going to be like, Lobelia, are you here? Just calling out as loud as I can for Lobelia.
Roll me a perception check.
That's an ow. 5?
With a natural 1, yeah?
No.
You don't notice anything out of the ordinary other than that corruption working its way through this druid circle.
But
Yeah, I have been. I was gonna.
Hig?
Yeah, I was
Hig.
gonna say I'd rolled a perception and investigation just to get a sense of if that yelling had done anything. But I got a 6 and an 8.
Yeah, it's not going to give you anything. Vincent, you were saying?
no, I wasn't saying anything.
Sorry, I thought you were saying something. 19 for perception for Elardis. Elardis, you've lived around forests long enough. You are aged enough that you've developed kind of a second sense, almost an ethereal sense when it comes to the forested areas. Given, who your people are. Looking through the branches of this tree in a way only an elf can, you see something moving just outside of... just basically on the other side of the tree branches that are closely knit together that only those with training would be able to see.
With me noticing that, I'm not gonna say anything, and I'm just gonna book it straight for that tree and start climbing up it.
Roll me an athletics check.
$16.
You do manage to climb the tree. And on the other side of the tree, you see what appears to be... You can't quite tell what it is, but it's a short... It's like a 2.5 foot to 3 foot tall something moving. Just circling around the encampment. And it's watching you guys.
I'm gonna sit on the branch. Well, I guess kneel, more like squat. That's the word, squat. I'm gonna squat on the branch. I'm gonna pull my bow and an arrow out. I'm gonna knock it back, and this is like, Lobelia, is that you?
And the form stops moving. And it looks up at you. And it just stays there, looking at you for a moment.
It's okay, you can come out.
You think it's all good? You know nothing. Elf?
Well, I know it's not okay,
Please don't throw dirt.
but it'll be fine. It's okay, you can come out. Unless you do something, we're not gonna hurt you.
You say it's going to be okay, but you know not what I've become. You know not what has happened to me, and suffice to say that if I step into that clearing, there are going to be disastrous consequences. My old friend.
I promised that I would avenge you. I haven't broken that promise, and I'm not going to break it.
You're gonna have to survive the onslaught first. Are you still sure you want me to step into the clearing?
You and I have managed to survive a lot worse. You know that.
One of me was a nightmare. The figure blinks out of existence, and a moment later finds itself in the clearing. Try 4 of me. And 3 other figures materialize to the other side of the clearing. And as they fade into view, all 4 look exactly like Lobelia. And if you think this is a challenge, this is only the first time we're going to meet on opposite sides of the battlefield. And this is where we're actually going to cut it off for today.
Cool.
Well, fine.
Damn.